Hello guys, hope you're doing good. So in today's video, we're gonna look at a Bushcraft classic, the Mora Garberg. So I bought this Mora Garberg in around 2016, 2017 when they first came out. So I've been using it a lot, and definitely it's a great knife for the outdoors. So nowadays you can buy it in many different configurations with many different sheath options. The one I got was the stainless steel one with the leather sheath option. So let's take a look at it. So let's start by looking at this leather sheath. So it's excellent quality leather sheath. So it has a pouch design with a flap on top that's held shut with this snap here. And it's very excellent quality snap. It's welted, stitched, and riveted on top here. It's pretty thick leather, so it's definitely holding up very well. And it has a belt loop here that's quite wide as well. So excellent quality sheath. All right, so let's look at the knife now. So overall, the length of this knife is about 9 inches or 229 millimeters. The blade length is about 4.2 inches or 109 millimeters. The thickness of the stock is 3.2 millimeters. And the steel used on this one is Sandvik 14C29N, which is a pretty high toughness stainless steel with a pretty decent edge retention. And the heat treatment is a HRC of roughly 58. So it's still a pretty lightweight knife, coming in at 272 grams. So as with most Mora knives, the grind is a Scandi grind, but this time with a micro convex that really adds to the durability of the edge. So the handle is made of polyamide, which is pretty standard for these Mora knives. But what's particular with the Mora Garberg is that it's a full tang knife, and actually you can see the exposed tang at the end here. Also has a lanyard hole, can easily put a piece of paracord through there. So this handle is quite simple and quite comfortable. Comfortable in the standard grip, in the reverse grip, in the pinch grips as well. So overall, a great design. All right, so let's see how good it is at cutting cordage. So usually Scandi grinds aren't too good at it. Let's test it out. Yeah, so as you can see, it cuts, but it's not ideal for that. So maybe that's one of the drawbacks of a Scandi grind. So for certain cutting tasks, it's not as ideal as a saber grind or a full flat grind. So I try to use this knife for meal prep during camping, and it's definitely not ideal when you need to cut some meat or prepare some veggies, because the Scandi grind is great for woodwork, but not so great for food prep. All right, so let's try some bushcraft tasks with that knife. So quite easy to make some feather sticks because of this Scandi grind. Super nice. All right, so let's try some carving with it. So again, the Scandi grind makes it ideal to carve through wood. So it bites deep and very easily with minimal effort. So the tip is quite robust. It's quite ideal if you want to prepare a bow drill divot, or you want to make a hole through a piece of wood. Works very well for that. So since it's a full tang knife, it's pretty robust. I've used it to baton many times, so I know it's going to hold up. All right, so let's try some cross-cut batoning. Sometimes with these smaller knives, that's the technique you can use to cut down some small trees or branches. It's also a pretty good test for the edge. So some knives lack the edge stability, and sometimes you can see some damage. but with this micro convex, you have a very durable Scandi grind. So sometimes you want to use the tip of your knife to split some kindling. So that works out pretty good. So let's see how robust that tip is. So even though you can torque it pretty heavily, there's no damage. Obviously, the tip is pretty stout on that knife, and it holds up very well. So one characteristic of the Garberg that sets it apart from other Mora knives is the very sharp 90-degree spine. So it's very efficient if you want to scrape some tinder, for example. So it's very efficient for that, but also great to scrape a ferro rod. So let's see how this 90-degree spine is good at scraping a ferro rod. Very easy, works great for that. So obviously the Mora Garberg is not a chopper, but let's see how it does at light chopping. So here's a comparison of the Mora Garberg to the Warp Tough Gear Forester. So that's one of my design. So you can see that there's definitely some similarities. They're about the same overall length, 9 inches. The blade are about the same length. The width of the knife is a bit bigger here on the Forester, as are the handles. So I think they feel the hand better. And you have these cutouts here that are more comfortable for different types of grips, like the pinch grip, etc. But overall, both these knives are excellent outdoors and bushcraft knives. So overall, I've been using this knife for 8 to 9 years now. It's a very robust knife. It's holding up very well. It's a very balanced knife, and it's great for the outdoors, bushcraft in particular. So I can definitely recommend this. So I'll put a link to it in the description section of the video. Thanks for watching.